Hey guys, it's Jane. Friday today, so I'm here for a Friday Reads. Well, this is kind of a combined Friday Reads and Book Buddy-a-thon TBR slash update because on Monday, after in my time zone, Book Buddy-a-thon had already officially started, I joined the team. Monica from sophblueberry and I joined forces and we decided we would go to the ball, and so I've come to the party late, but I'm, joining in. But before we get to that, let me tell you what I read up till that point. Friday last week, I was so excited because I'd finally got into The Dark Forest by Cixin, which was a library ebook that I'd been having trouble getting access to, but I'd finally won through. And anyway, it was a little bit of a slow start. And then I was actually getting really into it when everything went crash bang again. I think now the problem is it's just an enormous file. It's like 50 times bigger than most of my other ebooks. And I think my e-reader is just having difficulties handling that. So it may be that I am going to actually have to just give that away and somehow get my hands on a paper copy. But worse things happen at sea. Then I picked up Robin Hobb's Fool's Quest, which is the second of the Fitz and the Fool trilogy and the most recent Robin Hobb book out. Robin Hobb is one of the very few authors that I can now say I'm completely up to date with. I've read all of her novels. I can't tell you really anything at all about the plot of this one because there is this thing that happens at the end of Fool's Assassin, the first book in this trilogy, which pretty much determines all of the action of this book. And if I tell you anything, it's going to spoil what happens at the end of the first book. So I'm a bit stuck, but I will say I really enjoyed it. And the only downside is that now I have to wait for the concluding volume. And the one other little tidbit that I'll drop in for other readers of Hobb is that there are some special guests from another one of her storylines that turn up unexpectedly, to me at any rate, in this book. So that was a bit of a special moment when that happened. Okay, now we're up to Book Buddy-a-thon. So there are 5 things that you need to do for Book Buddy-a-thon. The first thing is agree on a book that you're both going to read. So Monica and I agreed that what we would choose would be Felicia Day's You're Never Weird on the Internet Almost. Everybody and their dog has been talking about this. Monica had it on her to read list, and she actually already had it from the library when we were having the conversation. So I got my hands on a copy and I have now read this one. It didn't actually take that much reading. I've heard a whole bunch of really positive reviews of this, and I don't want to be the person who throws a spanner in the work, but I actually didn't find it all that exciting. I didn't really connect with it, basically. There's nothing wrong with it. It's an interesting story. I think that some of her choices about what she put in and what she left out left me feeling a bit, it was fine. There was something wrong with it, but I certainly don't think I would have missed anything by not having read it. But I'm not a massively big Felicia Day aficionado, so hopefully fans of hers will read it with enjoyment, and that's all great. Okay, so that's the first of those books. There are 4 other things that we're supposed to read. One is that you give your buddy a list of 3 and they choose one from that 3 for you to read. And Monica chose this one for me, The Dagger's Path by Glenda Larke. This is the second volume following up from The Lasker's Dagger, which I read during Booktube-a-thon, ironically enough. I've made a little bit of a start of that, but hopefully sitting in the sun today, I might get a bit more of this read. One of the reasons why I'm so excited today is that they're actually predicting that it's going to get to 20 here for the first time in a long time. They're actually saying 21 today, 23 tomorrow, maybe 26 on Sunday. Oh, heaven. For those of you strange imperialists who only use Fahrenheit, I think we're getting to 70 today and then upwards from there. So yeah, it's a beautiful sunny day and I'm really looking forward to it. So yes, the Dagger's Path, the follow-up to the Lasker's Dagger. I'm looking forward to that. There was also, you had to read a book that was on there. They had given a 5-star rating to. Your partner had given a 5-star rating to. I asked Monica to suggest something, and she suggested this, which I've got from my library, Alanna, The First Adventure by Tamora Pierce. And my confession is, I have never, ever read a Tamora Pierce book. I don't know whether it just came too late or maybe they weren't around in Australia or I just missed them. I know it sounds like blasphemy because all the girls love Tamora Pierce, but I never read it. So today I'm going to see if I can make a start on this one. The fourth thing is to read a book with your book buddy's favourite colour on the cover. And it turns out we both love orange. How exciting is that? Monica, you're so cool. I've chosen this one, Virginia Woolf's Killing the Angel in the House. This is just a teensy tiny little thing. It's a Penguin 60, which is a thing that they did 20 years ago. 20 years ago, it now turns out. There was a whole bunch of these Penguin put out to celebrate their 60th anniversary. They're now doing Penguin 80s, I understand, which makes me feel terribly old. But I have a whole bunch of these Penguin 60s. And I'm pretty sure I read this at the time, but I haven't picked it up since. This is a collection of 7 essays that Virginia Woolf wrote. Killing the Angel in the House, which is the title, comes out of her first essay in here, and that essay is the transcript of a speech she gave to a society of professional women that she was invited to come and speak to. So they were women in England at the time who were members of the professions, doctors, lawyers, whatever, and most of them had to overcome major barriers to get to where they were. And Virginia Woolf was invited to speak to them, and she talks about the fact that in her line of work as a novelist, there were far fewer barriers, and especially for a woman in her position who was, moderately independently wealthy with an allowance of £500 a year. But she talks about the fact that there were, although not as many external impediments. For her, she found that there were 2 major internal impediments, and one of them gives the title to this book, Killing the Angel in the House. The Angel in the House is taken from a poem that she talks about, which was written about the ideal woman. And the angel of the house always takes the broken piece or the burnt piece. If there's a draft, she always sits in the draft. She's the ideal woman who's always putting everybody else's needs before her own. And Virginia talks about this as being largely an internal pressure, and that she figures that her biggest achievement, or one of her biggest achievements as a woman author, was overcoming this internal pressure that she felt to never do anything for herself. The last thing of the 5 is to read a whatever book, and I have been reading P.T. Hylton's Regulation 19. I had this, and I just started it randomly, pretty much. It is a cracker. It is nothing like his Zane Holloway novellas. It's not a fantasy. It's a science fiction thriller type thing set in the near future. It's really tense and creepy, and I am totally loving it. So that's going to be my number 5 book, and I'll tell you all about that when I'm done with it. The other thing that I've got to have a look at this weekend probably is this one, Mao's Last Dancer, which I am supposed to have already read for book club, which is next Tuesday, I think. So we'll just see how that goes. This is an autobiography, and when I've read it, I'll tell you all about it. That's it for me today. I hope you're all well, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.